What if the greatest truths of life could only be heard in silence? Helena Blavatsky's The Voice of the Silence invites us to explore this profound idea, presenting a timeless guide to spiritual awakening. This mystical text, inspired by ancient Tibetan teachings, reveals a path toward enlightenment by encouraging readers to listen to the sacred inner voice that transcends worldly distractions. Divided into 3 symbolic fragments, the voice of the silence, the 2 paths, and the 7 portals, this work combines poetic wisdom and practical guidance for seekers of higher truths. How can silence guide us in a world filled with noise? Is it possible to hear the voice of the soul amidst the chaos of everyday life? Blavatsky addresses these questions by emphasizing the importance of cultivating inner stillness. She explains that silence is not the absence of sound but a state of being where the ego dissolves, allowing the higher self to emerge. The teachings in this book challenge us to rise above material desires and develop qualities like compassion, humility, and self-discipline. Through this process, one can align with universal truths and embark on a transformative spiritual journey. Blavatsky's work is both a challenge and an invitation. It calls on readers to confront the illusions of the external world and embrace the quiet power of self-awareness. Each fragment of the book provides a stepping stone toward enlightenment, guiding us to recognize the sacred connection between ourselves and the universe. By following the principles outlined in this text, seekers can open the 7 portals to higher understanding, compassion, and ultimate freedom. Are you ready to listen to the silence and uncover the timeless wisdom that resides within? The voice of the silence serves as a beacon for anyone seeking purpose and spiritual clarity. Its message transcends time and culture, reminding us that the path to enlightenment begins with a single, silent step inward. Continuing our journey into Helena Blavatsky's The Voice of the Silence, the first fragment, aptly titled The Voice of the Silence, delves into the essence of spiritual awakening. It emphasizes that the path to enlightenment begins with mastering the inner self. Blavatsky's poetic words describe silence not as mere stillness but as a profound state of awareness where the inner voice, the true guide, can be heard. To access this sacred voice, one must detach from the distractions of the material world and cultivate unwavering focus. The fragment introduces the idea of the mystic sound, a symbol of spiritual awakening. What is this mystic sound, and why is it so significant? Blavatsky explains that it represents the voice of the soul, a divine resonance that arises when one silences the clamor of worldly desires. It is not a sound in the conventional sense, but a vibration that speaks directly to the heart of the seeker. To hear it, one must develop deep inner harmony and eliminate attachment to fleeting pleasures. The process requires discipline and courage, as it involves confronting one's weaknesses and ego. Blavatsky also presents the metaphor of the 2 paths within this fragment, one leading to personal liberation and the other to selfless service. She urges seekers to choose the latter, emphasizing that the ultimate goal of spiritual growth is not individual salvation but the upliftment of all beings. This principle of compassion forms the cornerstone of her teachings, reminding readers that true enlightenment is rooted in love and empathy. The fragment challenges us to reflect on our priorities. Are we ready to silence our fears and desires to hear the voice within? Are we prepared to walk a path of selflessness, knowing that true wisdom lies in serving others? Through these teachings, Blavatsky paints a vivid picture of the spiritual journey as both deeply personal and universally connected. In The Voice of the Silence, Blavatsky offers a timeless reminder. The answers we seek are not found in external noise but within the profound silence of our being. By embracing this truth, we take the first steps toward a life of purpose, clarity, and compassion. As we move deeper into the teachings of the first fragment, The Voice of the Silence, Blavatsky's message becomes clearer. The spiritual path is not for the faint-hearted. It is a journey requiring immense resolve and self-awareness. The seeker is urged to quiet the endless chatter of the mind and align with the soul's higher calling. In this sacred silence, the wisdom of the mystic sound unfolds, guiding one to embrace a life of meaning and purpose. Blavatsky warns of the challenges that lie ahead. She describes the path as steep and fraught with obstacles, often set by the ego and worldly temptations. Why does the path seem so arduous? And is the effort truly worthwhile? The answers lie in the profound transformation the journey offers. Blavatsky asserts that only through overcoming these challenges can one unlock the higher realms of consciousness. The struggle is not a punishment but a necessary purification, shaping the soul into a vessel capable of holding divine wisdom. The teachings also explore the concept of the voice of the silence as a connection to the universal soul. This voice is not limited by words or thoughts. It is an intuitive understanding, a sacred insight that transcends logic. Blavatsky highlights that hearing this voice requires one to cultivate virtues such as humility, patience, and selflessness. Without these, the seeker risks being trapped in illusion, mistaking fleeting desires for eternal truths. Another key element of this fragment is the importance of detachment. Blavatsky emphasizes that attachment to material possessions, emotions, or even spiritual achievements can hinder progress. True liberation comes when the seeker learns to let go of all that binds them to the lower self, paving the way for unity with the divine. In this journey of silence, the seeker is not alone. Blavatsky reminds us that every step taken toward enlightenment benefits all of humanity. The spiritual journey is not merely an individual pursuit but a collective responsibility, as each awakened soul contributes to the greater harmony of the universe. Thus, the voice of the silence inspires us to persevere through challenges, embrace the transformative power of silence, and serve others with compassion, knowing that true wisdom lies in the unity of all beings. In the depths of the voice of the silence, Blavatsky unveils a profound truth. The spiritual path is both a challenge and a blessing. The silence the seeker strives to embrace becomes more than an absence of sound. It is a space of deep reflection, where the most hidden aspects of the self are revealed. As one journeys through this silence, the mind's resistance to stillness begins to surface. But within this struggle lies the potential for true transformation. Why does the silence appear so overwhelming, and what lies beneath this resistance? According to Blavatsky, this silence forces the seeker to face their deepest fears, insecurities, and attachments. The ego, which thrives on external stimuli, fights against this quietude. But it is precisely this confrontation with the ego that sparks spiritual growth. The obstacles encountered along the way, whether they be negative emotions or unhealthy desires, are not setbacks, but essential parts of the purifying process. Each challenge is a step toward overcoming the illusions that cloud true perception, bringing the individual closer to divine wisdom. Blavatsky portrays the seeker as a warrior, not in the conventional sense of physical battle, but in a battle of inner strength. The virtues required to succeed on this path, such as patience, humility, and devotion, are tested repeatedly. Rather than feeling discouraged, the seeker is encouraged to embrace each trial as an opportunity to shed the limitations of the lower self. In doing so, they gain the discipline necessary to maintain inner peace and balance in the face of life's trials. The silence, once felt as a barrier, transforms over time into a source of immense peace. As the seeker's connection to their higher self deepens, the stillness no longer feels like isolation, but a unifying force that binds them to all of existence. It is in this quietude that the seeker experiences the true essence of their soul, recognizing their oneness with the universe. Through Blavatsky's teachings, it becomes clear that the journey towards enlightenment requires patience and resilience. But in the end, the reward is profound, a life led by inner wisdom, where every action is aligned with the highest good of all beings. The silence that once challenged the seeker now stands as a testament to their spiritual awakening. In the voice of the silence, Blavatsky introduces a pivotal teaching found in the second fragment, the two paths. This section presents a choice, a crossroads where the seeker must decide which path to follow on their journey toward enlightenment. The two paths, though seemingly distinct, both lead to spiritual growth, but one is rooted in self-interest, while the other is guided by selflessness. The seeker is faced with a fundamental question: will they choose the path of personal liberation, or will they walk the path of universal service and compassion? What makes these two paths so different, and why is the choice so crucial? Blavatsky explains that the path of personal liberation focuses on transcending the ego and reaching spiritual freedom for oneself. While this path leads to spiritual awakening, it remains a solitary journey, centered on the individual's own desires for peace and enlightenment. In contrast, the path of selfless service does not merely seek individual freedom, but seeks to liberate all beings from suffering. It is a path of compassion and altruism, one that requires the seeker to place the needs of others above their own. Blavatsky urges that while both paths may lead to higher states of consciousness, the latter is the true path to ultimate spiritual fulfillment, for it is through serving others that one aligns with the divine purpose of the universe. Choosing the path of selfless service is not an easy decision. It requires a deep commitment to compassion and an understanding that true wisdom is not found in isolation but in unity with all living beings. The seeker must learn to let go of personal desires, attachments, and even their own spiritual ego, recognizing that the highest expression of wisdom is found in loving and serving others without expectation of reward. Blavatsky emphasizes that the path of selfless service is the one that leads to a deeper, more profound connection with the universe. For in serving others, we serve the divine essence that flows through all. In this teaching, Blavatsky offers a profound insight. The path of selfless service is not a mere moral choice but a spiritual necessity. It is through this path that the seeker can experience the true meaning of unity and oneness with the universe, as they dissolve the boundaries of self and embrace the interconnectedness of all life. By choosing the path of compassion, the seeker finds not only spiritual fulfillment but also the greatest wisdom of all, the wisdom of the heart. In the two paths, Blavatsky challenges the seeker to confront the nature of their spiritual aspirations. The two paths presented are not merely choices, but reflect the deeper struggle between the ego's desires and the soul's longing for unity with all beings. The first path, that of personal liberation, promises spiritual rewards through self-awareness and inner peace. However, Blavatsky warns that without compassion, this path can be incomplete. The seeker may attain higher states of consciousness but remain isolated, unable to experience the interconnectedness of life. True wisdom, she suggests, is found in selfless service to others, not in individual freedom alone. Why is the path of selfless service so essential? Blavatsky explains that the key to spiritual fulfillment lies in dissolving the boundaries of the ego. While personal liberation brings peace, it is the act of giving oneself for the good of others that opens the heart to divine wisdom. The ego can cloud one's perception, even in moments of spiritual achievement. By choosing the path of selflessness, the seeker transcends the small self and becomes a channel for universal love. This path, though demanding, ultimately leads to true enlightenment, where the seeker experiences unity with the cosmos and all living beings. The path of selfless service is not about seeking accolades or rewards. It is about acting out of pure compassion, recognizing that the divine exists in every being. Serving others, Blavatsky teaches, is the highest expression of spiritual understanding. The seeker's motivations must be pure without expectation of return. This is where true wisdom lies, serving others without attachment, embodying the universal truth of interconnectedness. Through this service, the seeker's heart expands, and they become aligned with the divine purpose of the universe. Blavatsky's teaching reveals that the choice between the two paths is not just a matter of personal preference. The path of selflessness is the true spiritual path, for it leads to the highest form of wisdom, compassion for all beings. In embracing this path, the seeker transcends the illusion of separateness and realizes their oneness with the universe. By choosing to serve others, the seeker not only transforms their own soul, but contributes to the upliftment of all. In The Voice of the Silence, Blavatsky introduces another profound concept, the seven portals. These portals symbolize the stages or challenges that a seeker must face on their journey to spiritual mastery. The concept of the seven portals aligns with the progression of the soul as it sheds the illusion of the material world and ascends toward higher states of consciousness. Each portal presents its own test, each demanding greater wisdom, purity, and detachment. What do the seven portals represent, and why are they so critical to the seeker's progress? Blavatsky explains that these portals are not physical gateways, but inner thresholds that the seeker must cross to advance spiritually. Each portal tests the strength of the seeker's resolve, the depth of their compassion, and their ability to transcend the ego. At each stage, the seeker must face and overcome a specific attachment or illusion that hinders their growth. As the seeker successfully moves through these portals, they shed the limitations of the lower self, coming closer to embodying divine wisdom. The first portal requires the seeker to face their attachment to material desires. It challenges them to look beyond the fleeting pleasures of the physical world and recognize that true fulfillment lies in spiritual truth. As the seeker advances, they are required to relinquish attachments to personal achievements, to the need for recognition, and to the desires that come from the ego. Blavatsky emphasizes that each portal is a necessary purification, a stripping away of all that binds the soul to the lower realms. The seeker must cultivate inner clarity and selflessness to move forward. One of the most powerful aspects of the seven portals is their role in the development of wisdom. As the seeker passes through each stage, they gain greater insight into the nature of reality. These insights reveal the interconnectedness of all life, teaching the seeker that true mastery lies not in isolated knowledge, but in the wisdom that flows from understanding the unity of all beings. Blavatsky underscores that mastery comes not from intellect alone, but from the embodiment of compassion, humility, and selflessness. The 7 portals are a reminder that spiritual progress is not linear or easy. It is a gradual unfolding of the soul's true potential. Each portal presents an opportunity for growth, purification, and transformation, leading the seeker closer to the ultimate goal of enlightenment. Through each challenge, the seeker learns to transcend the ego and become a channel for the divine wisdom that guides all life. The path to mastery is not for the faint of heart, but for those willing to confront their illusions and embrace the deeper truths of the universe. As the seeker progresses through the 7 portals, each one represents not only a test but also a profound transformation of the soul. The journey through these portals is a purification process, stripping away the layers of illusion and ego that obscure the seeker's true nature. In the final stages, the challenges become more refined, asking the seeker to transcend even their highest concepts of self and identity. The seeker must let go of any remaining attachments, including those to spiritual accomplishments, and embrace the realization that true wisdom and mastery come not from personal achievement but from divine unity. The last of the 7 portals asks the seeker to release even their attachment to the concept of enlightenment itself. Blavatsky reveals that ultimate liberation is not an individual pursuit, but an experience of oneness with all life. At this stage, the seeker becomes aware that their journey is not separate from the journey of others. Their enlightenment is intertwined with the awakening of all beings. The final step involves recognizing that the true master is one who serves the world selflessly, offering their wisdom not for personal gain, but for the upliftment of humanity as a whole. The fulfillment of the journey through the 7 portals signifies the transcendence of duality. The seeker has moved beyond the limitations of the individual self and has become an embodiment of divine wisdom, compassion, and love. With this realization, the seeker becomes an instrument of divine purpose, living in harmony with the universe and serving others with an open heart. The final goal is not the attainment of personal power, but the alignment of one's will with the universal will, becoming a force for good in the world. Blavatsky's teachings in The Voice of the Silence remind us that the spiritual path is not easy, but it is the most rewarding journey one can undertake. Each challenge, each portal serves to refine the seeker, preparing them for their true role in the divine plan. As you reflect on these teachings, ask yourself, are you ready to begin your own journey through the 7 portals? Are you prepared to let go of everything that stands between you and your highest potential? If so, take the first step, embrace the silence, cultivate compassion, and walk the path of selfless service. The journey is long, but the wisdom and transformation that await are immeasurable. If you found this exploration of the Voice of the Silence enlightening, be sure to subscribe for more insights into spiritual teachings and personal transformation. Join the conversation and share your thoughts. What challenges do you think you would face as you walk through the 7 portals? Let us know in the comments below, and remember, the journey towards true wisdom begins with the first step.